You're the opposite of Helen Keller on this call right now.
Wait. Try now.
I can still see and hear you, yeah.
Even now?
Even now.
Okay, I can't really see. That's fine.
I got a TikTok for you. It's somebody that says how I rate movies on Letterboxd as a film major. And so he gave criteria for each and what some prime examples are. So first off, in the half scar category, these just prove that anyone can make a film if they want to. There was The House of 100 Eyes, 365 Days, Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey, and Ginger Dead Man versus Evil Bong.
Oh, that one makes sense.
Then 1 star, lacking heavily on any acting, writing, cinematography, or storytelling. Breaking Wind, La Sorante Mebedu, 5 Feet Apart, The Human Centipede, and Baby Girl.
No.
Then 1.5 stars, a below average movie, nothing stuck, won't watch it again. The Emoji Movie. Here, that new Robert Zemeckis one. Mm-hmm. Barbie. And Fantastic Mr. Fox.
I agree with that one, but he's a sexist.
2 stars, not awful, but also not great. Usually lacks a narrative. The Joker 2, not the first Joker.
Folie à deux.
Folie à deux. Home Alone is a 2 out of 5.
Disagree.
Hereditary is a 2 out of 5. And After Sun is a 2 out of 5.
I haven't seen After Sun, actually.
I bought it recently. I haven't watched it yet, though, but I've got the physical DVD. 2.5 stars. Nothing really stands out. There are a few errors, but overall, a solid film to watch. Midsummer. Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind. Ferris Bueller's Day Off.
It's got a high bar.
Jack and Jill.
Yeah, he's trolling.
And Tusk. The fucking...
I don't know Tusk.
You know Tusk.
I don't know Tusk.
The Justin Long one where he gets the DNA of a walrus put in him. He starts growing tusks and being experimented on. No, man, You need to look up Tusk. 3 stars. Good movie, just missing a few ingredients to make it great. Either pacing or compelling story or characters. So he's got Old Yeller as a 3-star movie. Babylon. Jurassic Park. Frozen. And WALL-E.
Dumbass.
Jurassic Park and WALL-E are better than 3 stars. 3.5. Thoroughly enjoyed the film, watched it multiple times, engaging plot, solid performances, some minor flaws. The Notebook, American Psycho, Fight Club, Titanic, and Jaws.
Some seminal American movies for 3.5 stars, or was 4 stars?
That was 3.5.
There's 3 stars or 3.5 or 4 stars?
That was 3.5. This is 4 now. Great movies, very entertaining and impactful. I have less than 100 films with 4 stars or greater, he says. But some 4 stars he has is 10 Things I Hate About You, The Truman Show, Pulp Fiction, Oppenheimer, and Superbad. 4.5. I only have 22 films that are 4.5 stars. These are arguably the best films in their respective genres. He's got Interstellar, Notorious, Goodfellas, The Passion of the Christ, and Tommy Boy.
Yeah, the best of its genre.
And then there are only 4 stars that he's ever, or 4 movies that he's only ever rated 5 stars. The perfect films. And he says one of these would be 6 stars if he could give it a 6-star rating. But it's The Wolf of Wall Street, Gran Torino, Get Out, and The Karate Kid.
Yeah, this kid's a fascist.
Which of these 4 would be his 6-star movie if he could give higher?
What was the first one again?
The Wolf of Wall Street.
Try that one.
Gran Torino.
Yeah, because they say racist things in that one. That's one of my friend's favorite movies for the same reason. He's a fascist.
I was reading it and I was like, this is a wild list. I mean, Gran Torino is good, but like a 6-star breaking the scale?
Yeah, just because they say the G word a lot.
He caught me right away with Ginger Dead Man versus Evil Bong. I was like, oh.
Yeah.
And then I got more and more
We
disappointed.
thought. You done thought, Brandon. You didn't done think it.
I done been thinking. Whoa, you went dark. Oh, you just turned your camera off. Whoa!
You see me now.
No. Yes. I can't hear you.
Let's do it.
It's always can't see, can't hear, can hear, can't see. It eventually lines up.
Sort of. You see my face?
Proms tonight.
Proms tonight. I got shave
and
DJ.
DJ.
And all that stuff.
Yeah. Shave, shit, and shower, the big 3 SHs.
I also have to run the Grand March live stream, which is the most stressful of all the events to run.
I can only imagine. I don't know what it is, but I can imagine. All right, let's get disco in. You better play some disco.
Do it.
All right, you ready?
Yeah.
Oh, wait. I'm not ready. Get out of here, phone.
He's ready.
I'm not ready. Now I'm almost ready. I'm ready. 1, 2, 3, play.
Wormy.
Here we are. More nights on Broadway.
Wormy on Broadway.
On the worms on Broadway. Wiggly.
There's only one disco song on my playlist for tonight.
Only one disco song for prom?
Unless you count like YMCA, I guess.
Yeah, kind of. What else? What's your one disco?
Canned Heat.
Good song.
I can't heat in my face tonight.
Ooh, wow. No, like Earth, Wind, and Fire? No Cool in the Gang?
I guess there is one Earth, Wind, and Fire. You're right, there's 2. It's not September, though. It's something else.
Shining Star? Boogie Wonderland?
I think it's Boogie Wonderland.
No, like, I want to put on my boogie shoes.
No boogie shoes. A lot of Olivia Rodrigo.
Yeah, I can imagine.
Yeah.
I can imagine. Some Chapel Roan. You got Chapel Roan on there?
A couple Chapel Roan and some Sunshine Berry.
You know what you should play? I'm looking for right here. One of the most captivating songs from last season. The End of My Dinner with Andre. Gymnopedy #1.
Could play that. I could play the Legati piece from 2001: A Space Odyssey.
Yeah.
For like 10 minutes.
Play Daisy, Daisy.
I'm gonna start with 10 straight slow dance songs.
And Thus Spoke Zarathustra.
Yeah, sprinkled in there. If your relationship can survive 10 straight slow dances, you'll be fine.
That could have been a good like extra credit project for any of your film class. You plug in film songs in there and see how many of them they could point out.
Of our 7 movies we've watched so far, yes.
Yeah. Because you've done Even Dwarves. That would be a pretty easy one to probably spot out. Oh, yeah. You haven't done it yet.
Not yet.
Okay, but
Barry.
Barry.
All right.
First thoughts, kind of all right. I was like,
Not
okay.
terrible. A little bit of satire at the start of like what should we call it? Who's that guy? David Attenborough, one of the
David
Attenboroughs.
Attenborough. Yeah, it was a
Yeah.
documentary. So I was
Um,
in Denver for my work trip. I told everybody that I had a podcast, and they were asking questions about it and all that stuff. And they're like, "So what are you doing this week?" And I said, well, "I'm doing a Danish animated film called Sunshine Berry and the Disco Worms. It's probably going to be terrible." One girl was like specifically interested in it because we were eating together at dinner one night, and
hitting on you.
no, she's married. Um, and the next morning, I had watched like 20 minutes of it in my hotel room, and I came up to her. I was like, "But
Not
not
bad.
not that bad. I mean, it's not great, but it's not that bad." And then I
Not
got to
putrid.
so
Oh yeah, some more. So we'll see how it shakes out. But Barry, is being picked on by these bugs.
yeah. I also liked that the David Attenborough narration was talking about how stupid worms are.
That's it. That's the
He's
the
being picked.
perception of
He's
worms.
being picked on by not only the bully bugs but also the
Bugs,
narrator. But yeah,
like nature documentary.
bully bugs are taunting him to pick a berry near the edge of an ominous-looking branch. He climbs up there, grabs the berry, the cherry, whatever it was, but the branch snaps, breaks it,
Flings him.
catapults him across the land onto a fisherman's pole, and then he just kind of like
And he adventures back.
falls and bonks, and then it shows like a some of the intro credits, and he'll bonk somewhere else, and it'll show intro credits and that kind of
Always
stuff.
held on to the berry.
Before being launched back to his home, he did hold on to the berry to himself.
Yeah, he uses. He's like, I fucking did this shit. And then the mean bug squirted on his face,
Yeah,
and Barry has to go back to his mundane life.
they prank his ass by making the berry come on Barry.
Those fucking bugs.
They hate stupid worms.
Bottom of the food chain.
I mean, yeah, if you're eating dirt, you're at the very bottom. You can't even eat
You
another
can be
living organism.
bisected. Yeah.
And so Barry sees he's back at home. He lives with his parents. He sees a commercial for a great song contest on TV with a prize of $10,000.
Pretty small. I don't know. I guess the bug economy. It looks like shit. That was like that. That looked like shit. The $10,000 advertisement. It was just
Yeah.
like a text box inserted in there.
If only he weren't a worm, he could win. You know, worms can't win, no matter what.
He shouldn't even try.
But you know, he's got this ambition. He's got this hope that if some things were different,
It doesn't really have a
he'd
lot of musical
sucking my
influences.
dick.
Yeah, he hasn't really had a lot of influences musically.
No.
No Muddy Waters, no Robert
And
Johnson.
the biggest thing they've got is Tino, Tony with two N's.
Tino.
But he's set to start a new job at the compost site. Eating compost just like his dad did, but he wishes for something bigger and out of the ordinary worm life. So him and his friend Tito, they are working backstage at a concert for his work, where Barry tries to pick up some babe worms. Gloria, she's looking hot.
She's looking the affectation. We could say at this point the worms have boobs.
The worms have boobs. Yeah, she's looking hot. She's looking pointy and angular.
Every adult female worm has breasts hanging off of their worm body.
Yes, and that's how you can tell the difference of a male and a female worm is the presence
not
of
the hair on their head either. Yeah,
the presence of fat titties.
Fat tits.
So if you are
and then use their
guys, look for tits.
And then they use their tail as like a hand appendage type thing.
Yeah, I thought that was kind of clever. But he's trying to pick up Gloria, but is completely overshadowed by the singing beetle, Toady.
It's supposed to be like a George Harrison thing, I think.
You think? I mean, he is a beetle.
A beetle.
So
He
Barry
kept
then
singing "My Sweet Lord."
Barry then messes up this speech that Tony's giving, or that his boss is giving, or something, and lights off a ton of fireworks when sitting on a detonator. I don't know why this was in the building, but
it's chaos for poor Sunshine Barry. Why does he call himself Sunshine Barry?
I don't know.
I never talked about it.
He's breaking vases. He gets set on fire himself, running around, and now Barry is stuck working a desk job at the compost site where they're offering an uncanny middle management role for a worm. No worm ever goes to middle management.
Pretty rare. I think this is meant to be like an Office Space type thing, or
Yes.
even like Fight Club you mentioned earlier, The Matrix, where the mundanity of your everyday job has become this sort of existential hell.
Wanted. Have you seen Wanted, where they curve the bullets?
Oh.
You should watch Wanted. No.
Is that with Charlie Chaplin?
No, the James McAvoy, Angelina Jolie, Morgan Freeman, Chris Pratt has a small role in it. No Buster Keaton. No, we're thinking different eras, I think. You're really caught in the silent physical comedy era, and I'm talking
Harold Lloyd?
I'm talking like 2000s action kind of.
Fritz Lang?
Fritz Lang is in there. You're right.
Fritz Lang. German silent film director Fritz Lang.
And so this middle management role, Barry kind of doesn't want to go for it, as it would give up all of his free time. But his mom is like very peer pressuring. His dad is just silent. Are you glebing a worm?
Yeah, glebing the worm.
Yeah, and his dad's just kind of quiet. The dad's kind of he's not the alpha male in the relationship.
Looks like, he looks like he fought in warm Vietnam. He's shell shocked.
So Barry tells his family that he's going to apply for the middle management position to make him proud. So he gets his dad's 30 years worth of documents from work in order to study. And when digging through the box, he finds a record player and a disco vinyl. He's unsure what it really is, but when he starts it up, burn, baby, burn, disco for no.
He can't stop. He can't stop dancing.
Can't stop boogieing. That little tail.
He wish he could.
Is it considered a tail?
And then he starts jittering.
Is it considered a tail if it's all just one part of you? It's not a separate appendage.
Worm anatomically, no. Movie, yes. I think it operates as a clear different. Yeah, but I think you're in the movie. They're like both head. In real life, that's the crazy shit about worms.
How do you know what's the front?
What else can do that? You chop it in half. I think there is no front and back. They are merely both fronts and both backs.
At least with
they are all in one at the same time.
At least with a snake, which is also and the omega, one body, you can clearly see the head.
Yeah. Yes, and the tail sometimes will rattle. Yeah. Oftentimes it will rattle.
Very often.
Yeah, in most species of snake.
Could you imagine cutting a sandworm in half from Arrakis and then it just grows in two? There's just two
sandworms. That's what happens.
You're so fucked.
I think in the later books, the only way to kill them is like you gotta drink them or something. I don't remember.
You drink the worm?
I think so. You gotta like make it into a sandwich or something.
Wow. So yeah, he can't stop boogieing. This music really ignites a flame inside his soul. And as Barry's dancing his tail off, his mom's yelling at him to unlock that fucking door, wondering what he's doing. She barges in just as he puts it away, and he lies to her when she enters, as she cannot fathom the idea of her son listening to disco.
No straight son of mine will be listening to this fairy music, she says.
And this has got to be like a Footloose kind of thing, right? Hiding the music.
Yeah, Footloose, yeah. Or just like a Christian thing, like Elvis, maybe.
Oh yeah, like Elvis. People are hiding there.
Like Elvis was fucking. Yeah.
The sex, drugs, and rock and roll phase. Well.
Yeah, even he was gyrating all over the place.
Barry barges in to tell Tito at work his big news, as Oh no, at Tito's home. As Tito's doing this fat blaster shaker device thing. This is where I cut off in that first watch session, like that 20 minutes. He's doing this fat blaster shaker thing because Tito's kind of he's a bigger worm. He's a
worm.
A big boned worm.
worm. Yeah.
And he tells him his idea of starting a group called Sunshine Berry and the Disco Worms and entering them into a TV song contest. This way, he will for sure get Gloria to notice him. He's still thinking about that hot piece of ass with the tits.
Well, as every great rock star does, much like my high school band, Tito was kind of like, I can't be in the fucking title a little bit here. Because my band, of course, was Lukas and the Buttholes.
Yeah, you kind of
boys. That's what we're going with. I'm Lukas, y'all are the Buttholes. Here we go. And they weren't. It wasn't a unanimous decision. I'll say that.
Yeah, like Bon Jovi. Why did he get?
Yeah, Van Halen.
Lucas Graham, the once I was 7 years old guy. That's a band.
The Dave Matthews Band.
Yeah, what the fuck?
There's more than just Dave.
There's way more than just Dave.
It's like several more than just Dave. But anyways.
Yeah. Steve Miller Band.
That one was just Steve Miller. And other people named Steve Miller.
No, it's not all Steve Miller.
There's four men named Steve Miller. Yeah, who played in that band.
You're right, though. That who gets the naming rights of the band is big.
It's huge. No one knows any of the members of Steve Miller Band outside of Steve Miller, and Steve Miller.
And they're like, God, what should we be called? Should we be called like the Johnny Walker Band?
Thunderstones or the Pigs Ride at Midnight.
Ooh.
Right? Or like Split. And they're like, no, we're gonna name it after Bobby.
Or what about like Earthworm Empathy?
Great hardcore band.
Great band name. Well, Tito is the voice of reason, saying worms can't boogie. That's just not what they're meant to do. And he's also using this fat blaster way too much. It's just him convulsing on the ground and things. But Barry doesn't listen, and Barry starts to put up flyers to Boogie Wonderland. Dance, yeah, Boogie Wonderland. Ha, ha, da-da-da-da-da.
He needs like a little Walkman or something.
Yeah, he does need a little Walkman. But he's all dressed up, too. He's got the fro. He's got on, like, the white jumpsuit. Talking to all the women to be his disco worms. And he's going to do this at his parents' house, the auditions. So his parents, he tells them he's got to study for middle management exams. So they leave him home to go to a date night. But instead of studying, he holds his own disco worm audition where no one shows up except a while later into the night as he's starting to take things down. Gloria shows up.
Wow, his muse, like the Grecians of Helen of Troy.
Wow. Oh, quiet down with the Helen of Troy. The Helen of Troy.
That's Gloria.
Game 6, you weren't there. I said sorry.
She's a sexy ass one.
I got to see about a girl.
Got to see about a worm.
Ooh, there we go. And Gloria wants to be the star. She's hesitant to join to be a backup singer, to just be a disco worm, and doesn't have that chemistry with him. She auditions regardless, but she cannot sing.
No. She's all looks, no bites or something.
All boobs, no bites.
She's a sexy worm, but that's all she is.
However, Barry is enamored by her wiggly beauty and lets her into the group after her voice destroys some of his parents' home.
Every band, I mean, that is just good band management. Have a piece of eye candy out there. Do something good to look at.
Who is your eye candy? Which one of your buttholes was the eye candy?
That would be Kevin. Couldn't play a lick of an instrument, but people come out to watch him. He's interesting to look at.
Oh, he is. Who's in this band?
We stuck him on timber. Me, Kevin, Chris, Eric, Nate sometimes. This kid Clyde at my school. These are all. I mean, it was a rotating cast of buttholes, but those are some of the more stringent members. Clyde's a really good musician.
So you had some people that could be good eye candy, like Eric's super hot. Chris is pretty good looking, but it's Kevin.
I don't know if Eric's super hot. Yeah,
Eric's pretty hot. He's fit and.
Yeah, maybe not back then.
Oh, he was ugly then. That was Kevin's era.
Big old buck teeth. Yeah, Kevin was his hot boy era.
Okay. Well, Barry at work, he almost gets
cut stone with his abs.
Whoa, Kevin.
Yeah, and he often did.
Nothing would make
welding class.
Nothing would shock me more than for Kevin to lift up his shirt and just be fucking chiseled.
It says Thug Life on it.
Because I mean, he's not big by any means, but he's not your chiseled. He's not your athletic type
anymore. Not anymore. He used to do backflips in the hallways of school.
What?
Yeah.
That's crazy. Well, Barry almost gets fired from his job after his bosses see the flyers for the auditions because boogieing goes against their corporate policies. And with some smooth lies and gaslighting, he convinces them that Tito, who's his desk mate, made those flyers as a jealous prank because he got offered the middle management potential position.
He has to take the fall. Yeah.
They thought it was hilarious. Like, that's a good prank.
It's a good prank. You're a good man. You'll let you off the loose. Let you off the hook. That's
it. Get you off the loose.
Because they're worms.
And so Tito, he wants to be done. He's like, I'm not doing this anymore. You know, jobs at risk. But they go to a bar instead. To try to recruit more bands, a bug bar, and they find a wannabe guitarist named Jimi Hendrix, with a history of being in a boy band, I believe. He kept getting flashbacks to the Village People.
Find Jimi Hendrix. That was funny. What if it was just like a human Jimi Hendrix?
It's just a bunch of worms and Jimi Hendrix.
Jimi Hendrix. And he's supposed to be a sunshine worm.
Yeah, it's a wannabe guitarist. He's got the full grunge look, the heavy rock look, but he actually doesn't have a guitar. And every time they bring up playing in a band together, he gets a vision of the Village Worms, not the Village People, singing YMCA. And I'm like, is he one of them? I didn't get it until the end.
YMCA is on the prom playlist, of course. How could it not be?
Good, yes. And he hates disco too. Jimmy hates disco, but he joins on the condition that Barry will buy him a guitar if he's their guitarist. So it's a pretty good gig.
Fuck yeah.
Fuck yeah.
You kind of need that to be a guitarist.
You really do. And so Barry wants Tito to be his bass player, but Tito opens up about how self-conscious he is about his worm weight and how he doesn't fit in. But Barry bargains with him to help him just for one night in return for helping him study for the middle management exam coming up, because apparently he got offered a chance as well after that hell of a prank.
Such a good prank. He vaulted into corporate leadership roles. Reminiscent of Jack Black and the little huskier girl in
the School of Rock.
Yeah. I think they handled it a little more elegantly, but yeah.
This is very School of Rock coded, I thought.
The whole movie.
The first rehearsal starts.
The same plot.
Yeah, very, very much so. Secretly trying to get a band together to win a contest.
Correct. Behind the eyes of the authoritarian figures, yeah.
Yeah. The first rehearsal starts, and although three of them...
That's why we love it.
3 of the 4 have some talent, not Gloria, but Jimmy and Tito's actually decent at bass, and Barry can kind of drum a little bit, and he's pretty good on the keys. Their styles do not match on Michael Jackson's "Don't Blame It on the Sunshine, Blame It on the Moonlight, Blame It on the Good Time."
You can tell Jimmy's grunge influences. Yeah, Gloria's fucking everything up.
And then one of Barry's bosses barges in, the worm boss of his, on them rehearsing inside the office. She's like, I see what you're using your overtime for. We're paying you to rehearse. She's about to fire him when she realizes that they're doing it all wrong. She grew up behind a discotheque and has disco in her soul. So she fires Barry from the drum set and takes over the rhythm.
And she takes over. She's supposed to be like a Gloria Estefan type of, or no, Sheila E. type figure. Yeah, that's Sheila E.
And
Sheila
she
W.
changes their sound to a cohesive boogie disco sound, all while muting Gloria. So Gloria can still participate, but she will not be heard.
Still be hot.
She can still be hot.
Now she's like a go-go girl, essentially.
Essentially.
He used to take them in cages, you know that?
Yeah.
Go-go girls at clubs and stuff. That's cool.
That's super cool.
I should bring that to prom. Girls in cages. So, you can't get it out until the end of the night.
Teachers? Or just
prostitutes.
Oh, just real prostitutes, yeah.
Hookers. Yes.
I think that's a great idea.
Whores.
Get a bunch of whores for high school prom.
For our prom.
Like, put them in cages.
Yeah, they can buy them if they want to. Yeah. For the hour.
By the hour is pricey. I can't believe.
Or they can buy it.
I can't believe the res is paying for this.
Right. They are, and you can pay to let them out and free them.
Oh, so
it's part of the dance floor.
It's really a Sophie's choice.
Correct.
A Chekhov's gun kind of scenario. To purchase or not to purchase. That is the question.
The caged hookers.
To purchase this whore or to not purchase this whore at prom? That is the question.
I don't know where you can even find a whore in Montana. Professional one.
God gives his sluttiest whores.
Anyway, so I know plenty of amateur ones. That's why I dated them.
God gives his sluttiest whores to his best proms.
Best cowboys.
So, while they are rehearsing in the office building, Tony the show beetle is walking with a date down this deserted alleyway. He said ready to take her. Was he going to kidnap her?
Yeah, I think worse. You're going to have her.
Ladies, do not let a man take you to a second location.
Even on a date or anything, yeah.
Yeah. No dinner and a movie. They have to be at the same. They have to be in the same location.
Yeah. Men will kill you.
When they stumble across the band rehearsing, he hears their good sound, kind of intimidated, but he also sees the tuner that shows Gloria's is turned down all the way. So he's enacting an evil plan in his mind. He's ready to pounce. And Barry gets home in great hopes to find a letter from the TV1 channel station, but when he opens it, saying they are not selected for the song contest.
They're not eligible, fucking worms.
Yeah.
Play instruments, yeah.
So he goes to the station begging for a spot, and he says they won't let them in as they will be the laughingstock of television, having worms trying to do disco. That's too risky.
Well, yeah, because disco isn't, just like in our universe, disco is fucking dead, baby. So there's the added aspect of like the racism part. You can't let a worm on the TV, but also you can't let disco on the TV.
Exactly. And so
xenophobes.
Barry negotiates with him to let him send in at least a demo tape, a demo video, and change their name to Sunshine Barry and the Disco Dudes in order to join and get that worm stigma out of there.
Disco Dudes. Sell your race out, Barry.
And get rid of that stigma, because all he wants to do is stigma Dick and Gloria.
That's still his primary motivating factor, yeah.
And so they go to do this demo video. Gloria sewed some complex costumes for them.
That's a good role. She's a good groupie, a roadie.
And Jimmy's having Village Worm flashbacks again in this outfit.
Yeah.
Like, it's literally Vietnam PTSD flash. Oh
no. You can't stop it.
And after this whole rehearsal and demo video, Gloria's sitting on Barry's bed in his room, closed door, confessing to Barry that she has finally realized that spark, that chemistry that Barry had alluded to and stated previously, and how easy it is to realize what's important when someone supports you and tells you how talented you are. So Barry's getting in to make that move when she tells him she's talking about Tony, the beetle.
She likes Tony. So rips his heart out. Poor fucking Barry.
And then Tony just barges into Barry's room unannounced.
How do you know where they were? I thought too.
Who let him in the house, and then who let him in that room? You can't just
in that room.
Gloria. If there's one thing I know, you can't barge into another worm's room without asking.
With his lady? To steal his lady?
Yeah. And
steal he does.
As he scoops Gloria up in his 6 arms, he starts from her tail and kisses up to her.
That was gross.
He kisses her all the way up. I was like, oh,
that was gross. Barry. They're gonna go have freaky bug sex.
Oh man. Interspecies freaky bug sex too.
Which you wouldn't think would be compatible, but here we are. Fucking Tony.
And so the middle management exam is coming up Saturday, and his parents just hope, he doesn't disappoint them. Because there's nothing more upsetting than being disappointed as a parent. And at a new rehearsal, Barry and Gloria, they go at it over her mic volume. She tells him how she's like, Tony tells me I'm good and I need to have this volume up. So I invited him here to listen to us at the office rehearsal to hear you sing. But Tony doesn't show because he told Barry's boss about them using this space. And Barry's boss comes in, who's about to kick him out, and I assume fires him. Yeah. Barry stands up to him. He's like, we're going to do this because we're worms and we've got power in numbers. But his whole bandmate, the numbers aren't there. They abandon him and take their instruments through the tunnels.
The worm tunnels. So Barry, his bandmates are yellow. They lack the courage to stand up to the authoritarian man.
Almost like Bug's Life, where they are afraid to stand up to the grasshopper until Flick shows.
Almost like way in School of Rock when the kids aren't going to go to the thing because Sheebley's fired. What's the point?
Ned Schlebley.
Ned Sheebley.
What a name.
Good writing. Mike White.
And so in the tunnels, they're sulking, walking away when the tunnels start to collapse because somebody is using a shovel, a human's using a shovel, and digs them up out of the hole and dumps them in a box to a locked live bait stand. So now they're just set to be killed.
They're gonna die. Yeah, that's it. The harshest punishment, one could say.
And this is your worst fear. Live bait.
Bug?
No. As a human, live bait, putting a worm on a hook.
I'm sure it's equally terrifying for both parties.
Being impaled via a hook or
having to
grabbing a wiggly worm.
Slimy worm.
Yeah. Ugh. And so inside this box, Barry snaps at Gloria. He tells her the truth, she can't truly sing, and that Tony's been lying to her all along. And then Barry breaks down and tells them all the truth, that there's no contest. They weren't invited because they're just lowly worms. And they come to the realization there's no way out as the glass is double paned. A worm can't break through a double paned glass.
And it's half empty.
Until...
Glass half empty. Yeah.
Oh, it is half empty. Until Tito realizes that Gloria's voice can break glass. So it's that bad.
Yeah. Sing, Gloria!
So sadly, she goes, first I was afraid, I was petrified. But being dejected and put down all this time and realizing this, she sings with emotion. The perfect song choice for her. And lo and behold, it's beautiful. Her voice is glorious.
Like a tortured blues singer. She needs that abuse to channel into her music.
Yeah. And she realized that if she
more than
tunes into the meanings of songs, she can connect and have better tunes. And they're like desperate. They're trying to bring her back down again. They're like, no, that's not what this song's about.
Yeah.
This
No,
is
you're
terrible.
stupid.
Sing it like
Yeah.
this. She's like, no, I'm not gonna do. This is what this means. She's a changed worm. And desperately,
Wormy.
they decide to just play together as a band one last time before their inevitable death when a fisherman purchases them and reaches in.
It would have been like their last waltz of the
Now,
band. Pretty much what
Barry
it said.
sacrifices himself after they all admit they like disco. They all said that they weren't disco fans, but they do. Worms like disco. And Jimmy, specifically, is not a former member of the Village People Village Worms. He just has a homosexual crush, a relationship with one of the Village People.
He's just like the police song or the soccer of them. Yes.
Yeah, he
Good
just
twist, I think.
really loved the Village,
I like that twist.
the leopard
Village
print
Worms.
Village Worm singer.
That's a good twist.
It is a good twist. I was like, what?
Not, it didn't even like set it up as a twist either. That's a good call.
No, it would have been great had he been previously in the Village Worms
Better
and was
this way.
had this like history and everything, and so that's why he's getting the PT. No, it's just that he's a homosexual stalker of a.
It's good. That's good character development.
So Barry sacrifices himself, lets them all run, but the worms decide not to run, but to save Barry because he showed them deep down how to live.
How to
spare a life
go.
because he spared theirs. And after
Make a life,
Barry
live a life.
narrowly escapes death from being stomped on, him and Gloria share a look. They realize they care about each other before they dig out of there.
Eat some dirt out of there.
Yeah. And
True
the
love.
contest is about to start. They finally get back to town, but the
I guess
band
we're not invited to.
dejectedly, they disband as they are too late to make it, so they don't even try to compete. And Barry's sitting in his house with his dad. They're just watching TV commercials, talking about a stupid dream and how he'll just work for the compost all day. His dad says he isn't crazy about this, as his quiet dad, who hasn't said a word really so far, followed the same path. He was previously offered a record deal as Funky Frank and the Boogie Worm Band.
And you turned it down.
It's in his blood. In his worm blood.
And this time he has to take the chance his father never could.
And we can't drink the worm blood unless we are Lisan
pregnant.
No.
Yeah.
Or a woman.
Or pregnant.
No.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, it's like the tree of life.
No, that's a different movie.
No, it's like Benihana.
It's like Benihana. What the fuck are you talking about now?
It's like, you know what I mean? It's like Ghost with Patrick Swayze.
It is like Ghost
with
Patrick Swayze. You're right. You got to be pregnant. I get it now. And so Frank convinces him that worms can boogie. He shows him also. He had his son purchase thousands of dollars worth of equipment. He has this hidden stash just behind a shower curtain in the living room of just beautiful instruments. So he takes he gets the band back together, and they arrive at the contest. They're still not allowed to perform, but they're just saying, like, we're going to wait backstage if randomly you need a fill-in. But Tito is not here as he's at the exam. They don't have a bassist.
Tito, yeah. And now that Tito's getting skinnier, he's losing his fucking funk, too.
Ooh,
fat guys are always better bass players.
That kind of feels right.
Flea, I guess.
Bug, though. Flea.
Bug. They should have had a Flea. You're right. That's crazy.
No.
I mean, a Flea playing bass.
They should have.
Yeah. They should have.
So they enact their plan. They somehow got this master plan going as well, even though it was too late to join the contest. They got this time where Gloria goes to sweet talk Tony into taking her somewhere private in order to get close to him and close the deal and steal something from him. I don't know. I couldn't tell what it was what she stole from him, but it was round and it was right on her boob. She stole something from him.
Like I don't know.
A birthday cake.
No, What is it called?
Demo
A doubloon?
tracks.
No, I don't know.
A doubloon, yeah.
A doubloon. Not a doubloon. What is it called?
I don't know what you're talking about.
It's like a jewelry,
A brooch.
a brooch.
A doubloon.
A brooch.
It's definitely not a doubloon, but Tito at his exam is the top score getter, a perfect 100 out of 100. So he gets promoted, but when he gets his first task from his boss, it's to dig out his boss's car. He's using him like a worm.
Like super fulfilling job, yeah.
So Tito's fed up and he's leaving. He's going to go join the band. And while he's coming, Tony gets on stage to perform and is booed off the stage. This was supposed to be the winner because Gloria stole what she stole was not a doubloon. It was his playback track. Apparently, he can't truly sing.
Yes, he's a fucking bug.
He's just been lip syncing the whole time.
He's been bug syncing.
So he gets booed off, and the promoter rushes over to them to ask for them to perform at the last second. They agree. But when the crowd starts chanting, "No worms, no worms, no worms," everyone gets cold feet. That is until Tito shows up angrily from his boss's jobs that he gave him, storms on stage, and just whips out his bass and just bow 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 bow. They don't give a fuck.
Good moment there for Tito, I thought.
Play that funky music, white boy.
Worm boy.
Worm boy. Yeah. Oh, play that facty music, worm boy.
Play that facty music, worm boy.
And the crowd loves it, including Frank at home. Barry's dad. He's jamming.
Yeah.
The mom doesn't until she realizes she wants to fuck Frank with his worm moves.
Yeah, that's the true reason of dancing, right? To show the other gender how well your pelvis gyrates.
And you're DJing prom tonight.
And what inhibitions will you let yourself get away with? Yeah.
Also, can we talk about the mom and the dad? The dad was this tiny little twig worm. She was huge. She was like 4 times his size.
She was like the mom from A Talking Cat. Yeah.
He was one of like the even dwarves started small equivalent of worms, and she was an Amazon woman.
Cat mom. Yeah. Was it Talking Cat, the mom with the linebacker?
No, that was Birdemic. That was Athley's mom.
Yeah, she was huge.
She was alive. She looked like Brian Urlacher.
Yeah, like fucking Mike Singletary.
So, the winner, after they perform, the crowd goes nuts. The winner is announced. And the winner's the Mayflies.
Well, they were in competition, yeah.
The competition was rigged, though. Barry eyes down Tony, paying off the judges to keep them from winning after they sabotaged his chances. And so Barry thinks that because they didn't win,
I think like we're never in the competition, though. I don't.
Yeah, not officially.
Anyways, but yeah, so the Mayflies win.
They think that because they didn't win, they are losers indefinitely as worms. But the band tells them otherwise. Correct. And then his father puts on a giant neighborhood concert for them to perform. Blame it on the boogie to everyone. Worms are boogieing. Other bugs are having a good time. The bullies don't want to hurt them anymore. And Gloria and Barry...
kind of turning everyone's opinions on worms, yeah.
Gloria and Barry, they kiss. Like multiple times during the performance.
Yeah, Gloria's boobs are out, yeah.
And that is the end of Sunshine Barry and the Disco Worms. What a theatrical experience it was.
Beautiful movie.
Beautiful. Ooh, that would be good. Should we get into some quirms?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I like that. Some quirms.
As I'm ready to almost be done with the pause, you hit a very quiet yeah. Good silence in there. Did you take quotes for
What does
Sunshine?
the M stand for at the end?
Monetary
No, I did not.
investment.
No, we could say like, what do we do after recommendations? Sometimes we talk about stuff we got upcoming.
Movies. M stands for movies.
Movies.
Duh.
Yeah, movies. Movies.
Obviously, it stands for movies.
Stands for Sure Billy.
It doesn't stand for Sir Billy. So I've got 6 quotes. Not super. It's 75 minutes and it's not super quotable.
A lot of dancing. Yeah.
A lot of dancing. My first one, when he's getting bullied by the worms at the beginning, Barry goes, "We worms can do a lot more than you think." And one of the bully bugs goes, "Oh yeah, you can eat dirt and
Eat dirt.
Eat dirt." Got
his
there.
ass.
When Barry's house gets thumped down, I believe this is what it was, by Gloria's singing, he just goes, "This is terrible. My mom's going to have a heart attack or a cold sore. At least something serious." Like 2 ends of the spectrum on serious.
That's funny. That's a good line.
When Tito is hesitant to join the band because of his weight, he goes, "Barry, look at me. I don't look like a disco star. I think I look like a fat, stupid, talentless greaseball of a worm." And Barry just goes, "Tito, you just got thick bones." And he goes, "Barry, worms don't have bones."
I'm fucking fat Barry. Yeah.
When they are in the box before they get put into the live bait box, it's all dark in there, and they're like, "Oh my god, how are we gonna get out?" And Jimmy just goes, "Don't worry, I've got me guitar." And one of them just goes, "That's not your guitar you're holding." And it was like, whoa,
Dick.
a
dick,
which then leads into the village worm thing.
How you wanted that dick, yeah.
When Tito gets promoted, the boss comes over and he's like looking at all the contestants that took the exam, and he walks down to Tito, the winner, and he goes, "And here we have the thin end of the stick, or should I say the fat end." I was like, "What?"
Oh, that's so uncalled for you. I clocked that too. Yeah.
You can't say that. You just got a perfect score.
Yeah.
And then great. I think this is Frank. I think this is his father trying to convince him to play in the band. He goes, "Ask not what your band can do for you, but what you can do for your band."
Little JFK dropping.
Yeah. "Ask not what your country can do for you."
It's John F. Wormity.
Ooh, good one. So those are my 6 quotes. I thought, honestly, of those 6, they were pretty decent 6. But I couldn't find much
laugh out loud out. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's
with
ratings time.
I'm up 8-0 on Seth.
4-1 on Seth. So as long as he doesn't get any of these right, you win. You just got to get one.
On the money.
Thermometer, critics, Rotten Tomatoes.
33%.
It's not applicable.
Seth.
But what about People, the popcorn mitter? That was the only one I didn't have. That was the only one I didn't have. Good. So now you're 38, you said?
Okay. Yeah.
Seth wins.
Ooh, he's coming back.
We'll give it a 54%.
The People. Hell yeah, People.
IMDb Metascore. There were 14 total reviews, so I had to do the math myself. 6 of them with scores. So.
Jesus. Well done, Brandon. I'm going to say 35.
Seth wins.
No, he's going to win.
It's 57.
57 Metacritic.
From critics, yeah. And then, this is it. It's 4-4 now. Audience score out of 10.
I'm going to lose. I'm going to say 4.7.
Oh, you're so close. It's a 4.6.
Yay! Suck it, Seth.
Get this worm dick.
Yeah, up in you.
So critics gave it a not applicable and a 57 for a 57. People gave it a 54 and a 46 for a 50%. And before we give our scores, that 4.6
Best
lands.
movie we've ever done.
Man, if the best we've ever done was a 4.6, we would have been really doing some schlop this whole time. A 4.6 lands it at. Oh, did I not put? Why is it not on here? Did I forget to update this list for the new season? I must have. So a 4.6 will land it at the 50th worst film we've ever done. Movies
so
just
upper echelon.
Movies just worse than this include Space Jam: A New Legacy, 50 Shades Freed, Space Chimps, No Holds Barred, and Movie 43.
Some stinkers in there.
And then movies just better than this include Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey Part 2.
Bad.
Which is better.
Not as bad as. Yeah.
Ishtar.
Great flick.
Joanna Man.
Bad flick.
Howard the Duck.
Great flick.
And Cannibal Women in the Avocado Jungle of Death.
Pretty great flick.
So, what are you giving Sunshine Berry and the Disco Worms?
I think I'm gonna put it in the maybe surprise. I don't know if surprise is the right word. Maybe hidden gem. I don't know if that's the right word. Something in like a discovered quality sort of category, which is gonna throw up like a 5.9, which is I think a drastic difference in what I thought Sunshine Berry was going into this film.
I was ready. I was ready for a Kung Fu Rabbit.
This is no Kung Fu Rabbit, sir.
Yeah.
I wouldn't mind Sunshine Berry taking my PS5. So 5.9, maybe around a 6.0 for Sunshine Berry. Pretty enjoyable fucking worm movie.
Yeah. I was a 5.7. We're right there.
Always.
Yeah. It's not that bad. I mean, we talked about some of the movies that we found some gems from, like School of Rock. We said Footloose. There was a lot of School of Rock, actually. Fitzcarraldo.
A little bit.
So the animation wasn't the best, but it wasn't terrible. It didn't look like Sir Billy.
Sir Billy.
No,
you're right.
If the inspiration behind it wasn't a psychopathic director that had earthworm empathy, it probably would have been better. Like, if it wasn't worm-based, it probably would be better, because the potential in the storyline is actually there.
A little bit more musically centric, yeah. Might be more enjoyable.
I don't have any true hates about it.
Maybe the boobs, but yeah.
Boobs. 5.7. So an average of a 5.8 for us. That's wild.
Wait, check the math again. You sure?
Yeah, that was wrong. It's negative 40.
Negative 40. I think it is up your. That's better. I think this is maybe like some of those, like you said, like Candle in the Avocado Forest. One of the biggest disparities between expectations and reality in the score for a positive.
Dollman.
Dollman is a great example.
Cat from Outer Space.
Cat from Outer Space. No Holds Barred. Fan with Muscles.
Fan with Muscles for sure. Yeah, those are some of those ones that were just like, whoa.
Quality.
Okay. Gooby.
Competency. Gooby.
Mac and Me.
Gooby?
Yeah, probably not. Mac and Me maybe better.
No, not Gooby.
So, with that, we've just got some reviews. I have no critics. Like I said, there were so little out there. But I do have 6 users. Flop.
Any returnees?
You're pouring ranch on it? You're saucing the flop? Oh, yeah, you're definitely. Any returners? Let's see. No returners. Nope. No Prismark 10, no Cosmasp, no Snoop, no Songbird. Well, first one I've got is P. Stepien.
Okay.
And they said, nothing new under the dirt. The movie will never get applauded for innovative script or spectacular jokes, while the charm is all over the place. But the essential question is whether the disco fever will channel through your body by the end. In my case, I would have to say yes. 5 out of 10.
I think that's right with us. Yeah, I agree. Yeah, I have disco fever.
PL Records says, my children are 5 and 3, and they both are disappointed with me for selecting this for them. 1 out of 10.
I could see how it would be appealing to a 5-year-old or a 3-year-old.
But those kids didn't like it.
It's gross. That's what I'm saying. It wouldn't be appealing.
Oh, Callie sat down and watched some of it with me.
She liked it?
Yeah, she was laughing along. Next up is by James Bond -28264.
Not 007.
Yeah. James Bond 007 or James Bond 28264 says, Bond. I don't know why most of the reviews are overhyping this film. The characters aren't really interesting and dull, and the plot is really unoriginal. It's just a ripoff of Flushed Away in the B movie. And every second, it just starts to become even more worse.
Not at all like the B movie.
Like horrible political messages and stereotypes. Animation is really bad, and the characters have weird movements that fell into the uncanny valley, and the backgrounds look like plastic. 4 out of 10.
It's a little like the B movie, I guess.
A little like the B movie.
Anti-bug bias. Not a lot, though.
Going against your normal norms of the bug is similar, but this is a musical. The other one is a romance, a smut film.
Yeah, with human interactions all over the place, yeah.
Fourth review is by C.R. Williams 21691, and they say, I'm a big fan of less common animation, and I'm not afraid of whacked and wild plots like this. What gets me is when they featured a nuanced topic, like body dysmorphia or internalized homophobia, and just throw it all away in favor of a generic heterosexual side plot. Even worse, it seems like the only reason they added a character with body image issues and a closeted gay character is to poke fun at them. Obviously, these characters are allowed to exist in movies, and they should, and they're allowed to be involved in jokes, but they shouldn't just exist to be the punchline of a joke. 2 out of 10.
I didn't think they were necessarily punchlines. Yeah. Good character development, I thought, at least for
Jimmy.
Fucking no,
Tito.
That was a good twist with Jimmy. So.
I do agree that they're right. They shouldn't be placed in here just to be a punchline, but I also do agree with you. Tito's had some character building into it, and then yet Jimmy's just like, oh, never mind. He wasn't. Yeah. Penultimate review is by Earthworm 10626.
Whoa.
10626.
He must love this movie.
He said, honestly, I was kind of excited about this one at first. I mean, worms doing disco? That sounds like a hilarious concept, right? But man, this movie really missed the mark for me. The story just drags on and gets super predictable. The jokes and the puns really don't land either. They're cliche and honestly cringy, which is a shame because I was hoping for some clever worm-related humor. The music, which should have been the highlight given the disco theme, was mostly forgettable, and it felt like they were trying too hard to make it catchy, but ended up with tunes that made me want to zone out. This film had a fun idea, but just didn't deliver. 4 out of 10.
From the worm's perspective, I thought the music could have been slightly better.
I mean, I loved all the songs they picked. Disco Inferno, Blame It on the Boogie, Boogie Wonderland, I Will Survive.
I thought they had great hits. Fillers, though, too.
Yeah, but they wanted some clever, sophisticated worm-related humor in this.
I could do without the worm puns. I'm glad they didn't force that down our throats.
That's what Space Chimps tried to do too much.
Correct, of course. Got a whole character do it.
Which are putrid films, as we've discussed.
Thank you. Yes.
And
I can't defend them here.
Last but not least, my final review is by Mr. CNMA.
Yeah, we've done this guy before.
He says, this is a story about friends grounded to the corporation jobs. In their world, you cannot be somebody if you do not agree with the corporationism. Work, eat, sleep are only allowed activities. It is not the same as we have in our world. Film requires deep understanding, and this is not the film for young children because they will not be able to understand what is going on. This is not the film for everybody. 10 out of 10.
Wow. We do. I think we touched on that. The sort of late stage capitalism hellscape this movie presents
Yeah.
in the form of worm offices.
In the form of worm offices. So that's going to end it this week. Are you recommending Sunshine Berry?
I think so. Surprise yourself. I think maybe even after this, we haven't convinced you that this is an acceptable movie. It is. See it for yourself.
I am in agreement with you.
It's a good social experiment.
It's also only 73 minutes. It's like super short and brief. It's hard to find. It's very hard to find. You might have to look it up just as Disco Worms on some
123movies.com.
not so legal sites. But it was enjoyable and easy and way different than what I could have imagined. So thanks for tuning in to episode 1 of season 13. Next week, we've got a second.
Our 500th episode.
No, 202nd. Next week, we've got another music-related movie. We've got Pitch Perfect. Oh, you just flashed us.
Is Seth joining us this week?
Only if we can record on Thursday.
Maybe part 2.
Maybe part 2 for Pitch Perfect.
We don't ever do that, but if we had to,
yeah,
that would be the theoretical. Yeah.
So potentially maybe Seth. If not, he maybe wanted to be on for the next one. And then my birthday movie. Go watch it, guys. Don't Think Twice with Mike Birbiglia. We're finalizing birthday choices throughout the seasons for me, Alex, Seth, Marina, and Lukey. So smash that like button. Smash that subscribe button.
Smash your dick.
Glebe it up. And we'll see you next week.
Garadouche, can you do the fandango? Just barely over an hour.
Yep. Just barely over an hour.
Just bury over a worm.
If you can just hit me with that recording as soon as you physically can, that would be much appreciated. Much
uploading it right now. Much wormed. Much wormed.
Much wormed. Miami Connection Fall, Alex's birthday, Starship Troopers Atlas, Jupiter Ascending. You said you did want to do the little panda fighter instead of Norm of the North.
Yeah.
Okay. I'll put Fitzcarraldo up for you.
Fitzcarraldo.
Sharknado. Then we'll just have to decide on a. We'll just have to decide on a masterpiece for sci-fi.
Maybe something like Norm of the North.
No, I was thinking like Arrival or Interstellar, but
I'm doing Arrival in my class. That's our next movie we're doing.
In your English class, actually, because it's teaching about linguistics.
Like good language. But no, we were going to read the short story that it was adapted from, but it's like fucking not a short story. It's like 80 pages long.
It's a pretty decent read.
Yeah. Kids, they can't do it. Plus, we spend most of the class watching it on cinema at the cinema.
The pre-movie stuff.
No, it's like a fake internet movie review show. But it's unhinged. It's great. They don't have a clue what we're talking about anymore. All right, friend, I'm about to share it with the name Brandon Snedeker, and then I probably gotta go do my hair for prom.
Go shave, shower, and shit.
Take shower and shit in that order. All right,
All right.
later, homie.
Good luck tonight.
Thanks, pal. Hasta
Bye.
luego.